8th Judicial District Judge Stephen Howard, through Deputy District Attorney Don Downs, placed a gag order on Neil Brooks so that the truth about West Vine Bungalows HOA was kept hidden for years. Paragraph 2F of this plea bargain is the gag order. 2F says, Neil Brooks shall not directly or indirectly criticize, disparage, denigrate, or defame any person or their business related to West Vine Bungalows in any communication. This obligation specifically bars Mr. Brooks from causing or allowing to be published or assisting in any way with publishing, whether orally, in writing, or electronically, any interview, article, book, or other document, whether fiction or nonfiction, which in whole or in part disparages any person or their business related to West Vine Bungalows. Another part of your consent to deferred prosecution included basically a gag order. Talk about that.
In the last 10 or 12 months before June 7th of 2012, when I was arrested, my health was horrible. And I had been reaching out to every appropriate resource I could think of, politicians and city officials and journalists and the press, to say, help me look at what happened to a disabled guy who literally was just trying to sleep under horribly adverse circumstances in his new home. And it became very clear that Sean Hines and the people of West Vine Bungalows needed my story not to be told anymore. And when Pamela Mackey and I were negotiating for the deferred prosecution, Pamela Mackey said, if you don't agree to the gag order, there is no deal. They will not waver on that. They want you quiet and they want you gone. And if my choice was to roll the dice with a biased at best, corrupt at worst judicial system, or agree to a gag order, I agreed to a gag order. But it said I couldn't talk about what happened to me. I couldn't disparage West Vine Bungalows. I couldn't aid or assist in any journalist or any media outlet covering the story. It was very clear what the intent was, just stop. So I stopped.
What is the most important paragraph in this stipulation for you?
It was the gag order. It was the gag order. One of the things that I learned, because I did everything they asked me to do and nothing that they asked me not to do for the entire 2-year duration, which ended in September of 2014. But one of the most important things I learned was that these people are evil, but they're not stupid. And the gag order did two things. Number one, it ran out the statute of limitations for any civil action. And since I didn't know exactly what I could or couldn't talk about, I just didn't pursue civil rights or the FBI or any potential federal issues that arose from my case. But the second thing it did was it made the story stale. And something that happened today is news, but something that happened last year isn't. So they took the import, they took the significance, they took the appeal out of my story, because by the time 2 years had expired, it was old news.
And this actually, the gag order expired in 2014?
It did.
And now we're in 2016, so the story's very old.
The story's very old. The story is very old in the same way that, you know, a car wreck that happened 5 years ago is old, except if, as a result of the car wreck, the person's health continues to decline. For me, the story isn't old because I'm stuck in the past, or isn't fresh because I'm stuck in the past. The story is fresh because it started my health on a downward spiral that we've been unable to stop or divert. So unfortunately, the story for me is every day I wake up, I'm still living the same nightmare.